What is up, everybody? You know who it is. It is your allies behind enemy lines, Ryan and Joey, coming at you thoroughly behind enemy lines, holding it down for all our Washington football fans here in Cowboy territory. I'm holding it down in Dallas. Joey's in Austin, keeping everybody off the front lines and holding everybody back, holding it down over there. If you're listening to us, you might be checking us out live. We are live right now on Facebook and on YouTube. So go ahead and check us out. Also on wherever you find your podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on SoundCloud, all by searching Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Like I said, we are on Facebook. Check us out, Allies Behind Enemy Lines Podcast. YouTube, hopefully you're here already. Hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, so as soon as we drop the latest and greatest heat, if you weren't tuned in to watch us live, well, guess what? We just notified you to let you know you can come watch the latest episode. And again, when we do go live, you also get notified that, hey, come check these homeboys out while they're live. Check us out on Twitter, Allies Behind Enemy Lines. If you go to our Twitter, maybe should have started with this. Go to our bio. You can find literally all of our links right there to all the things I just mentioned. You can also find links to our t-shirt we have, our Allies Behind Enemy Lines official podcast t-shirt that's saying hashtag we all need allies. Joey, I see a burgundy shirt there. Wouldn't happen to be the podcast shirt, would it?
Oh, it is. It is there. But I'm out here trying to slang. I'm trying to hustle merch, my friend. I'm trying to hustle merch.
I know that's right. Yeah, we got to start selling a few more of those things. Buy a gift for Christmas in July. Maybe you have a family member that maybe their birthday's coming up, a Washington football team fan. Maybe somebody that doesn't know what team they want to go with yet. And guess what? They have an ally with me, Joey, and everybody else that's rocking along with us. It's good vibes all around right now. We got holiday weekend this weekend. Getting ready for that. Joey, how's everything going? How's your week been? How's everything been since we last saw each other?
It's been good, man. It's been good. I had a unique. Well, I shouldn't say unique experience. Just an old experience. I actually went to the movies yesterday. I went to the movie theater.
Nice.
It's been a long time. Not to mention before the pandemic. As you know, at that time when the pandemic started, I had a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. So I didn't have a lot of movie time before that. So it's been a long time since I went to the movie theater, and I went and saw the new Fast and the Furious 9. Had to go to the IMAX. Nice. Had to sit right smack. I was like literally the only person there. It was an awesome. It was so good to actually do that. You just forget. We take those little things for granted. We forget those experiences. The movie is what it is. You know what I mean? Like we know what we're gonna get when we go watch those movies. But it was great. It was great to be in there and feel that movie experience again, and just and feel a little bit more normal again. It's just one of those things that we slowly, we don't know what this pandemic did to us, but we slowly just kind of like did things differently, and it's good to go back out there and do some of those things that we weren't doing for so long. So it's been cool.
Yeah, that's dope. I have yet to be back to the movie theaters since the pandemic, much for the reason why you weren't going previously. I got a little kid now too. He's a 1-year-old. He doesn't really make for the best movie going experience from what I could assume. He's a great kid, but just trying to hold down a 1-year-old for 2 hours or something like that probably doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun. But that's dope. Yeah, I definitely am itching to get back. Like you said, the Fast and Furious 9 is exactly what you want. Just turn your brain off for a little bit, see some explosions, see some fast cars, whatever. Did you? So you said you went IMAX. Did you go was it one of those food and movies, or was it just like your typical movie theater, like popcorn, candy,
it had the reclining seats. It had everything but the food. I didn't go there prepared.
Which I feel like that's like standard now. I feel like the reclining seats are like standard now, unless you're going to the dollar theater or something.
It totally. One thing is I totally smelled of clean. You can tell it was definitely clean. It smelled like it's been very thoroughly cleaned and not. Usually movie theaters smell like popcorn butter and sticky floors, but no, that place has been thoroughly clean. It hasn't really been used again. And I got myself a Mountain Dew Slurpee, which was like an icy Mountain Dew icy. It was sitting there. I could not resist. I looked up and saw that, and I was like, that's gonna be my Fast and the Furious companion right there, and it was perfect. I need a little bit of that fuel from Mountain Dew to keep me alive and watch those those I don't know, no spoilers. They're just what's what it is, but just outrageous things that just happen in those movies. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's awesome. That's great. Well, getting right into it, big news day around Washington and the football team. Big news week, I should say. It started earlier this week, which I thought was going to be the topic of our conversation, and it still will be. Then that is the wife of Daniel Snyder being named co-CEO, Tanya Snyder. She was now named, like I said, co-CEO. People were kind of wondering what's the issue here, or why is this happening? Why is this, why are they doing this out of nowhere? It seemed like, maybe it was kind of keeping up with the theme of, hey, we have to kind of change the culture a little bit. Maybe we're going to add a little bit of the female voice into the front office, kind of like what we did with the coaching staff. Not saying that those women that are on the coaching staff aren't deserving, 100% deserving of those jobs. But you add another perspective, and a lot of people thought maybe that was the case here. There was word that, hey, maybe after this investigation concludes, Daniel Snyder's gonna like be removed from the league, and so that way they can kind of keep it in the family. And Lord and behold, it was pretty much because they needed Dan Snyder to step away, and the levy comes down, $10 million fine that's going to go to charity, and it'll be interesting to see. I guarantee that charity doesn't get released, but it'd be interesting to see where that charity is going, or excuse me, where that money's going to, which charity or which charities. Hopefully, it's not the charity of Roger Goodell's back pocket, but we shall see there if it ever gets released. But yeah, so, and just that is, like I stated, Daniel Snyder, he is stepping away from the day-to-day responsibilities that's going to be taken over by Tanya. He released a lengthy statement. I'll keep you guys from I won't read it word for word. You can go check it out, the Washington Football Team Twitter. They have it posted there. But yeah, so he's going to step away. She's going to assume all day-to-day responsibilities and tasks. He's actually going to go and step away and drop new plans for a new stadium, which is awesome. Sounds great. If that can come to fruition. But big news and big things changing in the front office and the rest of the organization, kind of completing this cycle as a whole.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like the final piece. It's kind of like the only thing that's kind of been looming over us, from the past, and kind of all these years of controversy, and swarming the team and kind of keeping the focus off the field and all into the into the management and all the the behavior off the field. So it's kind of good that it's come full circle. I wasn't. I mean, it was a pleasant surprise, to know that because not to mention, it kind of came out of nowhere to a lot of people, but people that follow the team know that she's done a lot for the team as far as the charitable, and as being a positive face in the community since her involved. The Women of Washington, and I think it's the breast cancer awareness things, and all those campaigns that she's run. So she's done a lot behind the scenes and kind of gives us more of the diverse, that charitable look. And I think when you take her into involving in the day-to-days, I mean, we talked about that before. We talked about how the management structure was going to go, between Marty and Ron, and the two Martys, we should say, and it's just kind of going to be able to bring that make sure that everything we're doing is following through that same scope, and going through that type of filter, make sure that we're doing those types of things that are as a good look, quote unquote, a good look for our team. Whatever whatever decisions we make and whatever we choose to do, whether it be branding, whether it be whatever kind of charity contribution, whatever causes we get behind, a lot of that's going to go. She's going to be involved in that as well. So it's not like she's going to come over and start. I'm going to go out there and go shopping for players. I don't expect to see. I don't think that's the takeaway is that on that. I think it's good to know that kind of awareness is going to go into the growth of this team, and I think it's good to have that when we think about the only uncertainty, which a lot of us had, was the owner. Until it came down to the point, a lot of people have he's one of those polarizing figures that people have such strong beliefs. Either I support him 100% or I 100% hate this guy. Sell the team. Let's get him out of here. So I think it takes him out of that equation, and so to speak, he's still going to be around, but he's not going to be involved enough. We're going to be blaming a lot of stuff, on him. So it's going to be actually interesting to see how it plays out and how kind of how it looks when it's when the season starts. I guess that's the best time when you see the scope on the team.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, no, I think that point you finished up with was very, was correct. That we'll see this gradually, how it really affects the team, and to be quite honest, it's probably like you said, a lot of that stuff of what you mentioned about her doing and having her hand in will continue and maybe even be broadened a little bit. But I mean, if we're being completely honest, Daniel Snyder's still going to be involved in the day-to-day operations. He's just going to be the Wizard of Oz. He's going to be the man behind the curtain and handling a lot of this stuff as well. So, it is what it is. I seem to fall on the this sign of, I hate this guy, sell the team. So if he was just removed completely, I would have been, fine with that. They would have put the team up for auction or something like that, which I don't know if we would have seen anything like that before or anything like that again. But I think another thing this thing does is it really puts the other owners on notice of like, hey, you screw up, like you could lose your team. You know, we saw that happen in the NBA with Donald Sterling and the Clippers. Obviously, like I said, Daniel Snyder isn't technically losing his team, but he is stepping away from the day-to-day operations, whether that was because the NFL suggested that or told him that was going to have to what he was going to have to do, or if that was something that he did on his own. I haven't seen one way or the other. I don't know if you have on whose decision that ultimately was or who came up with that choice, but it's definitely continuing with the new era of
Well, the timing's interesting. Obviously, the timing of that. Obviously that coming out first, and then all of a sudden it's like the case
right.
is closed. Pay $10 million. That to me, that's just. I mean, put the pieces. Nobody's coming out and saying it, but put the pieces together. It's like, all right, man, you're gonna have to find someone else. Someone else to take us. Take this, and you're gonna pay us $10 million until you find someone else that we approve. Then this is not gonna. And then I'm sure it was part of the bargain, so to speak. So, like you said, it's gonna. I don't think we're gonna see him not being, changing that much. It's just like you said, behind the curtain. It's not gonna be in public.
Yeah, I mean, and they said too that Tanya is going to represent the Washington football team at all league, any league happenings or gatherings, things like that. She will be the figurehead, that is CEO/owner of Washington. But yeah, that's kind of what I was trying. I probably did a poor way of setting up was, the 100% when this first came out, my thought process was, okay, this is just some more posturing. They're trying to clean up the organization, the front office. We'll see what this really leads to. And then, like I said, 3 days later, it's what it is now. And it's like, yeah, that's not a coincidence. It wasn't just, out of the blue, out of the ordinary. It was like, oh, wow, we just happened to name the wife of the current owner as co-CEO. And now he's being forced to step away, or he is stepping away, whatever the case may be. But, like I said, good riddance. We'll see him on the other side, and we'll see how this really shapes the team. I think the way this thing was headed or is headed, we've said it numerous times here before. It's really telling of, I think, Ron Rivera, Jason. Why can't I think of his name? The new president of operations. Why can't I think? Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Jason Wright.
Yeah, Jason Wright. Yeah, I was like, why can't I think of his name? And I was like,
I bet you wanted to say Jason Campbell every time.
I will no. I actually wanted to say Jason Taylor, and I was like, I know that's not it. Stop saying Jason. But so that's. Yeah, I'm glad I stopped myself from saying that. But Jason Campbell as the president of operations would be a wild scene too. But but yeah, so like I said, the turning around of the organization, I think, has a lot to do with those two and putting those two in the positions that they are in. And so again, we'll see how much this really changes anything, if it does. And I think we'll just kind of continue going down this road that we are right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, behind the scenes piece that will the trickle down effect. We'll see how that, if it does, if any has in it on what's going on. But as we've clearly stated, I don't think it's going to change a lot behind the scenes. It's going to be mostly be in front of the scenes that we're seeing the change. So I don't know. It's just a story. I was thinking about it earlier, man. It's like one of those things that we're grasping at right now. Obviously, it's a major story because it definitely affects the overall view of the team, and about obviously this with this $10 million fine, and having the case come to a close. But as far as what we're here for, what we're allowed to talk about the actual game and this exciting team we have put together, I don't see it affecting it that much.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd agree. Yeah, as far as the product on the field, it's definitely not going to affect anything, because again, that's left up to some people that are far removed from this situation. But yeah, it's like I said, it definitely is a story and something that's, I think, if we didn't mention, it'd be kind of weird and awkward.
Well, I'm definitely not knocking you for mentioning it, but like I'm saying, it's one of those things. It's just like, did Aaron Rodgers get traded to us? No, okay. Did one of these major things happen? Why you guys, why are you throwing this at us at this time? When what we want to know is exactly the thing that everybody wants to know is when's the first day of what's the first game? When's it go?
100%. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's like when can we get this show on the road and get things rolling? But yeah, it'll be like I said, it'll be interesting to see if this changes anything or what kind of direction it heads. If this leads up to them possibly selling the team, I wouldn't be surprised that it
I think
once
if
he
anything, I think
gets
if anything, it almost ends that. I think if anything, it like alleviates the pressure. I
yeah
think there's the pressure for and that's kind of like it's like all right, well, it's kind of like next because what it did is what it did was just alleviate the pressure that everyone has. It's like well he's not in charge right now. And now you have that plausible deniability in a sense whenever whenever they're talking about it like well he's not in charge so what are you complaining about then well
yeah
so it kind of takes that away from the the pressure standpoint how long that is until she becomes the focal point because they don't see things changing a lot unless there is who's to say like I said I'm optimistic maybe she does come in and we do see things change we do see a significant change in how things are presented and and the culture of our team as it as it grows and so that would be great as well. So I mean, it's kind of like, well, if it stays the same, the pressure will mount back up, and then we talk about Bezos buying the team again or something like that. But if not, it's going to alleviate that, and again, we can focus on what we love to focus on, which is the product on the field.
absolutely 1000%. No, I agree. As far as that product on the field, uh I guess Washington adjacent for sure. Because there really has been a whole lot of news as far as what's going on the field with the team this week since we last met. Some news that broke: one of our enemies, the Dallas Cowboys, they are going to be featured on this season's Hard Knocks for the upteenth time, and I love this for the sole reason of whatever team is on Hard Knocks, they get hyped the hell up of like, oh man, this is going to be the team to beat this season. Doesn't matter if it's a 2-15 team, 5-10 team, whatever it is, the previous season. I know those numbers don't add up, but you know what I'm trying to say. And so with Dak coming back, guarantee you Zeke is all of a sudden going to be in the best shape of his life and look fantastic. CeeDee Lamb is going to be the best young wide receiver in the league. Amari Cooper is going to be the next coming of Jerry Rice. And this is setting them up for the ultimate failure, and that is just something you just love to see. You say what you will. This is a pro-Washington football team podcast, but is also very much an anti-Cowboys podcast. And so anytime the Cowboys can get hyped up and put on this pedestal and then just snatched right back down, your boy's going to love to see it. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
What it's gonna do is exactly what has fallen victim for the Cowboys for many years. It's gonna put a lot of things off, the focus off the field. All right, we got DJ Udi Sound before I get started here, who has hosted us, and he's in the house. He said, "Damn right, go Washington." So he knows he's anti-Cowboy as well. But I definitely feel that it's gonna build a lot of these personalities. Usually it comes out of Hard Knocks with all these stories. Oh, these rookies and these personalities that they kind of build around the team, and it's gonna take the focus off the football. It's got all this hype, like you said, is gonna come up. It's gonna take the focus off of the fundamentals of doing your job, the things that we know what it takes to be a successful football team in this league right now. And like you said, the stories are there. It's the redemption story for Dak Prescott. Coming off the injury. It's the team. It's America's team. No matter what, you don't even have to have any kind of story behind them. You just put the Cowboys out there, and it's going to draw. Jerry Jones. He's going to be a character amongst himself. Just think about it. He's going to be the Monty Burns of like the Simpsons. There, he's going to be sitting there and it's like, excellent. So, what should we do? And his son is like Smithers running around. Just sitting there doing all his bids for him. But that's kind of how I picture it there. But it's gonna everybody's already they get picked a lot. Like I said, it becomes in this it's Dallas. And I'm casually throwing this in there. Oh, it's Dallas and it's a two-way dog. I think we even talked about last week. It's a two-dog race between Dallas and Washington. I'm like, how do they automatically just get thrown in to this with a quarterback who's coming off an injury, unproven. We all know what RG3 happened when he got hurt. We all know how that changed him. We know we were expecting when he came back. I was like, woohoo, we're back on. He came off the season of his life. That was the season of his life. I had bought the shoes. I was tiptoeing in my RG3s. Do you remember that? I still have my RG3s, by the way, and I still tiptoeing them behind closed doors and live those glory days. But anyway, tiptoeing in my RG3s, and people are tiptoeing in their Dak Prescotts right now, thinking that Dak Prescott is 100% fine. I remember what was like his saying. Like I forgot what the saying was of what is my why. Something like that. That was the
Know your
RG3.
why.
Know
Yeah, know
your
your
why.
why.
That's what RG3 saying was. So we're gonna have this whole big hype thing, so we saw the footage. We know RG3 was coming back stronger than ever, and then, I'm not just saying, it's the same thing's gonna happen, but I'm just saying you have to have these expectations. They already have him throwing. It was a 2-dog race against Washington. And it's like, like I said before, the Giants are a way better team than the Cowboys. I don't know why anyone cannot see that. I don't know why it's because Daniel Jones, I guess, he's a goofy looking quarterback. And when he talks, it's even he does himself no favors. He needs Daniel Jones is one of those guys. Like if he was in wrestling, he would definitely need a manager. He would need a mouthpiece. He does not keep that guy off camera. He reminds me of like an early Jim Carrey, but before I don't know, Mad TV or something. I don't know, but anyway, yes. This hard knocks thing for the Cowboys is just going to go ahead and hype them up further than they already are. I'm not going to say they don't need it. They already are all hyped up, and so it's just going to even push it over the edge. So all it's going to do is have let down, finger pointing when things don't go automatically perfect instantly, which they shouldn't, because this is still a young team with a new defensive coordinator and a running back coming out and a quarterback coming off an injury. So they should have minimum expectations at best.
Yeah, and the other thing too that you mentioned, about Jerry Jones is, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to create some storylines. You know what I mean? Like tries to start tinkering and start putting his hands in things that necessarily he doesn't need to try to create a little bit more storylines, to create a little bit more buzz, to create a little bit more draw, because he knows the more eyes he gets, the more money he's gonna, ultimately generate. And I think that's the bottom line of what he's after, even though he's a billionaire 10 times over, whatever it may be. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to, is seeing how much shit gets stirred up just because Jerry's like, well, hell, we're on TV and I'm gonna give these people something to watch. They came to watch my football team. Well, I'm gonna give them something to watch. Watch this, and he's gonna go freaking start tinkering, and who knows what can happen from there.
Yeah,
but
you're gonna have these
it.
Jerry speeches back there. I'm gonna talk to the boys a little bit. Hey guys, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what it means to be a championship football team. I was there. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. You see the jerseys hanging up there in the rafters. I was there. I put them there. I know the feeling it feels. I'm getting that same feeling now. A lot of those little moments all over the place because Jerry cannot resist. Jerry cannot resist. Much as I cannot resist, I could have gone on forever in his little impersonation. He cannot resist it either.
Yeah, no, it's so yeah, I had to mention that as well, because like I said, I can't wait for everyone to be hyping up the Cowboys and saying how great they look and how great they're going to be when then they come out and fall flat on their face, and it's like, well, what happened, man? They were supposed to be great. They're supposed to be this brand new team. Zeke Elliott was going to revitalize his career, when it's like, oh wait, no, actually they were just on Hard Knocks, so that's why we felt
they
that
got
way.
embarrassed on Thanksgiving and drafted 2 linebackers. That's about the only difference they've done.
Granted, both 2 linebackers that we wanted, but still, that's
that is true. I mean, who did not want Micah Parsons? I think us and 31 other teams wanted Micah Parsons. And it'll be interesting still to see what they do with the subject of the Cowboys, what they're going to do with Leighton Vander Esch. I know a lot of teams are thinking that he's going to be traded away, and Jalen Smith, so to speak, as well. You can't keep all 4 of those guys, I think, on the same team for that long, and so it's we'll see all these stories unfold. So I guess all these questions will be answered in this Hard Knocks episodes.
Yeah, and I'm personally, I'm a big fan of Hard Knocks. I enjoy watching it quite a bit. I can't remember. I think you said you didn't really care for it, right?
It's over dramatized to me. I just.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I can't stand that reality TV. I mean, I'm a wrestling fan. Tell me it's.
I was about to say.
I know. I go in there knowing. I mean, they 100% will tell you. Anyone will tell you it's not fake. It's scripted. And I'm watching. It's scripted. At least they admit it. Go there and say this is. It's semi scripted. Then I'll or maybe I'll watch it more and say, all right, but. Why though? Why are you doing that? I think it's interesting enough to us football fans to just be a fly on the wall in training camp. I think that's what all of us want to see. We don't want to see a formulated version of that. We want to see, what's it like to be in a locker room after a bad day of practice, after the coach chewed us out. What's it like to be, on the field? What time? 6 a.m. How the guys walking in? What's the first thing they say to each other when they get to the lockers or there? Start stretching. That's the kind of hard knocks I want to see. Not this. Oh, I'm feeling all my emotions today on the field. I don't care about that shit. I'm not watching the real world, motherfucker. Get me out of here. We're watching football, so we're not watching Big Brother. This ain't Big Brother. I know you're a Big Brother fan, so I'm not trying to knock that as well. But that's not the reason I watch football. It's not for that. I watch it for the competition, and because we love the sport.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. I totally agree with you that it is over dramatized, and I think, but I also agree with the whole heart. Like, if you did a season long show of like what goes on behind the scenes, what goes on in the locker room, what goes on, I think that would be massive. You know what I mean? I know they probably couldn't do that. 17 weeks, a 4-week, or excuse me, a 4-month long show of what's going on behind the scenes, especially if the team starts doing poorly or whatever, or if they start going, if they're on a run and it's like, hey, these are kind of a distraction having these cameras around. But I think that's what we'd want, that the real football team, real football fans would want to see. Nothing over dramatized, nothing over scripted, just like, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's happening. And maybe too, the reason they do that is because it's really not quite as interesting as we think it is. You know what I mean? Like, we think all this stuff's going on, and probably the stuff that they can't show is probably what we really want to see. But again, they can't show it. So
what couldn't they show? And I think about it. I don't think of it. I mean, we think about following around a team around. Yes, you wouldn't want. I mean, in a sense, I wouldn't probably want to watch the same team all year anywhere. Or maybe I would, but it's just episodes like Game Day, where just follow. Like one episode is Game Day, where they follow a team from 6 a.m. to that, or okay, now this episode is practice week. They actually show the football player what they do, all their workouts, their film watching, all that stuff. Basically, what their schedule is for and so you just have those different types of episodes where it gives you more of a glimpse into what it's like to be the lifestyle of it. And then you can even have, like, in the off season, it could be vacations. There's all kinds of you can have all kinds of stuff if you really wanted to. I'm just saying, I could see that more appealing than like it's just it's the entertainment value. It is, and it's on entertainment networks. What HBO is, what it covers Hard Knocks, right? So I mean, it's definitely gonna have to have entertainment. They're not gonna put it on the network.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
That's what they say to that. They say, "This ain't ESPN, motherfucker. This is HBO. We have entertainment and scripts and whatnot." I don't know why HBO talks like that, but that's how they talk.
Yeah, I don't know why either. HBO sounds quite a lot like Jerry Jones, so maybe there's something going on there.
Yeah, Jerry Jones has his fingers in everything. What can I say?
I was gonna make a Daniel Snyder joke there, but I didn't. So
those just slide in.
Yep, absolutely. They always do. But I mean, that's really all I had. Not a whole lot of what's going on the field. Like I said, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to go over or talk about. Like I said, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just on the, it's what had me thinking about earlier as we're grasping for things to stories. And I saw the couple. I think, did we talk about the Pro Football Focus? I think the top lines came out. I'm sure you saw that, because I mean,
yeah, I did see that.
We're sitting here through all this clickbait stories, and then it's ranked number 3. And I saw an interesting, just not to go too far back. To talking about the whole ownership, Daniel Snyder thing, but they pushed that as such a negative thing, and which it's supposed to be, even while we can say what we want, but it's supposed to be a positive thing. It's supposed to be a growth thing for our team, and then they, and like I said, she's done a lot to kind of earn that, in a sense, for as far as a woman and being a professional. And then you take something like then they just assign us the 3rd best line in the NFC or in the NFL. With a makeshift line that hasn't earned anything, with a lot of these new pieces on there, so it's like, wow, So it's just funny to see how the media really, again, throws these stories at us. But yeah, that's interesting to see how they kind of ranked us the 3rd. And I could see, as we've talked about, the growth of our line last year. But I mean, and it's done nothing. I think losing Morgan Moses didn't hurt the line as much as gaining Eric Flowers and drafting Cosme made it better, so I think that we're going to grow better than we were anyway. So I think that was an interesting story. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, no, I did see that. And yeah, you're right. That was very interesting as well, because I didn't see that kind of like you said, there's so many new moving parts for this team, for the offensive line specifically. There's still questions, not questions, but obviously Brandon Scherf's coming up on his contract. He's playing on the franchise tag this year. And bringing in Charles Leno, like you said, drafting Cosme, bringing in Eric Flowers, and who knows? We're hoping Wes Schweitzer can duplicate what he did last year. We kind of really the only guys, I guess you could add, Brandon Scherf and Chase Ruley are the guys that you really know, like, hey, this is what you're getting from Charles Leno. You're assuming you're getting that, all pro starting left tackle, and you're hoping that keeps rolling. A guy that started every game for the last 9 seasons.
Plug and play, plug and play, and plug and play.
and then for me, I still think Eric Flowers is a question mark. And who will see what Samuel Cosme becomes if he gets worked into that rotation pretty regularly. But I did see that, and I kind of scratched my head because I was like, man, that's high praise for the third best offensive line, and us as fans don't even really know like what to expect or who's even going to be the starting five. Like that's pretty bold. But I mean,
what does it say about the rest of the Lions in the NFL? I don't know what it says about them.
But what did we say last week too? Like, not only are we talking about it, but the national media is talking about the Washington football team, and it's in a positive light. Like, yeah. I'm not used to this. Maybe that's why it's like, you're the ugly girl all the way through middle school, and all of a sudden in high school you're kind of cute, and the boys start talking. You're like, whoa, this is weird. What's going on? What do they want from me?
What do they want from me?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, I disagree with you only on one part. Is Eric Flowers? Like, I think he might have been the best piece of that line the year before when we let him go, and that's why he earned that contract. And I think that guard position suits him well. And I think that it's being able to have someone like Schweitzer, I think really strengthens the case that we might be able to let go of Brandon Scherf. If he is not the person that he is, because I see Brandon Scherf get just as many holding offside penalties as I see the rest of our offensive line, and blown assignments as I see him doing well. So I don't think it'd be a huge loss there. I'm just saying that we have good depth there. And I say I don't don't kill me, Washington fans. I love having the Sheriff, but I think we have great depth there, and I think that having Eric Flowers and Leno and drafting Cosby just improve that. So it's an interesting story there, but also an interesting story that came up with, I don't know if you saw the Maurice Jones-Drew top running backs in the NFL, and where Antonio Gibson fell on that list. And
I did not see that.
Okay, well I definitely did, and I think it was 6 and 8. I forget who. I believe Zeke was above Saquon, but they were somewhere in the 6 and 8 range for them two, and gave Antonio Gibson number 20 in the NFL.
20 best running back in the NFL.
And I would say, I don't know if it's hard. I mean, we'd have to sit here and really look at running backs. You know what I mean? To think about who we're putting him ahead of if we put him at 9. You know what I mean? Or whatever, or wherever we think he falls, because it's like, oh yeah, you think he's better than Alvin Kamara? Or like, oh, wait a second. Okay, well, we think he's somewhere in here. But I mean, where would you think? Where do you think? I mean, what do you think?
I think that's about right. I'd say right around 15 to 20 range would probably be correct. Like you said, we'd really have to break it down and go through running backs. So I would say, let's break it down this way. He's better than all 4 running backs in the AFC East.
All right.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
So there's 4. Would you put him ahead of? I'd put him ahead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yes, I would. After last year, I have the
list. Would you put him?
I have the list here in front of me. If there's, we see people that that I can just read it off to you and kind of see if you want to see if people he belongs ahead of him.
Okay.
Let's start at 20. Because there's gonna be a lot of people who can say yes. Yeah, at 19, Chris Carson.
Oof. I mean, he just can't stay healthy. I think that I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Chris Carson being ahead of him. I'm okay with that.
James Robinson.
I knew that was going to be the one, and I would put him ahead of James Robinson. I knew that was going to be there.
Okay, so 19 so far, you think?
Yeah.
All right, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you said yes?
Yep.
All right, so that's 18. Najee Harris.
I mean, that's tough. The guy hasn't played yet. How is he even on the list? How is he even on the list? He hasn't even played yet.
So you think that automatically eliminates him?
I don't think he should be in consideration. And when the season's all over, Najee Harris absolutely could be a top 10 running back in the league, but I don't think he should be able to be in
Who you
consideration. James
drafted?
Conner,
Who you drafted in fantasy?
honestly, okay, here, I'm gonna cop out. If it's PPR, I'm taking Antonio Gibson. If it's standard scoring, I'm taking Najee Harris.
Okay, okay, all right. So I mean, that's the thing too. I mean, he's gonna get a lot of touches there. So is
Yeah,
Gibson. But the Steelers are gonna plan to run his ass into the ground, and
yeah.
so I mean, so who knows? If he has it there, we'll see. So what does table him? We'll table him. Just because he hasn't played. That's the only thing that it's not. Austin Eckler.
I'll take Eckler over him.
Eckler over him.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cam Akers.
Oh, I'm taking Antonio Gibson over Cam Akers. Cam Akers can't
Okay.
even hold down the starting job.
Okay, so now he's not. Now he's number 17 in your book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
David Montgomery.
That's a toss-up. I'm fine with David Montgomery being ahead of him. I'm okay with that.
J.K. Dobbins.
Again, couldn't even hold down the job. It was a quarterback by committee. I'm taking Antonio Gibson.
16, number 16. Jonathan Taylor.
I'm okay with him being ahead of it. I mean, I think they're right there again. Yeah.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs.
Joe Mixon.
I think I'm taking Antonio Gibson over Joe Mixon. Like, I'm thinking fantasy. I'm taking Antonio Gibson over him.
Okay, 15. Aaron Jones.
Well, shit, if they would run the ball, Aaron Jones would be better. So I'll take Aaron Jones.
15. Saquon.
Yeah, Saquon.
Zeke.
I'm taking Antonio Gibson over Zeke. Zeke can't stay healthy. He's fat.
14. Chubb.
Oh, yeah. Chubb's the best running back in the league, in my
Cook.
opinion. Yeah, I'm taking Dalvin Cook.
Kamara.
Yeah.
McCaffrey. Henry.
Yeah.
So about 14, 15 range. You're about right. So that was kind of cool. That's kind of so again. Once you put it in perspective of who you're actually putting him in front of, if you think he's top 10, then it's like, well, hold on a second. All right, so he's still got a little way to go, but he's definitely if he was in that rankings category, he has that green arrow, that he's climbing the rankings. He's not dropping in the rankings right now.
Oh, yeah. If I could buy Antonio Gibson stock, I'm buying Antonio Gibson stock because there's only one place that thing is going. It's going up. That stock is not going down anytime
To the moon!
Precisely. That's exactly where it's going. Oh man, that was awesome. But no, but yeah, I think that's like I said, that 15 to 20 spot was where I would put him. Like I said, I don't know how when guys weren't the bona fide starters for their teams and they were running back by committee or they were going week to week by being starters, like J.K. Dobbins, guys like that. I don't know how you can possibly put him above Antonio Gibson when Antonio Gibson was the starter. Yeah, did we have different running backs for different situations? 100%. But you had J.K. Dobbins there. You had Gus Edwards. You had Mark Ingram there for a little bit. Like, there were so many guys that were mixing in and out of that Baltimore backfield that J.K. Dobbins was never the starter. Who else did we mention that was
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers. He wasn't always the bona fide starter. Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't even the bona fide starter for the entire season. So I don't know how. Well, I mean,
I'm just kidding. Just had to throw somebody in there that would be a little different. Saquon Barkley. It's a proven year though when it comes to Saquon Barkley. I think that he hasn't proven to be able to stay on the field. You know what I mean? You get that. There's a list. I watched that morning football show and there's these names that pop up. Alonzo Highsmith. All these lists of all these guys from back in the day that were so good for like 1 or 2 years. And it's like, and then in the big scheme of things, you totally forget about him. At the time, you're like, oh, this guy's great. This guy's, next level. So, I mean, Saquon don't fall into that category of someone that was, had all the potential in the world but can't stay on the field because his legs are too damn strong for the rest of his body or something. I don't know what the heck his Saquon problem he's got going on there. But, hopefully we see a good year out of him. Obviously not against us, but against the rest of the league.
Yeah, no, I think it's correct. The only thing is that when it's like a big injury like an ACL or like a popped Achilles, like that's hard to prevent, right? Like these soft tissue stuff like a pulled hamstring or quad or things like that, or calf muscle or whatever it may be. When it's like soft tissue like that, I think that's when you can start putting the injury prone label on guys. But when it's like big time ligaments, like I think it absolutely could still be injury prone. Like you said, those big ass legs, those ligaments are working double time and maybe they're a little bit more prone to go snap, crackle, pop on them. But, so I think it is a prove it year. Can he stay on the field? Can he play 15, 17 games? Can he put up those big numbers? Can it be on a consistent basis? Because now he has a wide receiver core to kind of open up the field, right? They have obviously Kenny Galladay. They bring in Kadarius Toney from the draft. Obviously, they already had your boy Bigger Play Slay and Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. The list goes on and on. The list goes on and on of guys that, yeah, of guys that can make plays down the field for the Giants, and so that kind of opens up the field for Saquon, who's also very good at catching the ball out of the backfield on his own. But I would agree that it is kind of a prove it year for him to see the potential is there.
The potential, and Daniel Jones. So I mean, both those guys. It's a prove it year for both those guys. So it's
but in different ways. I think it's a prove it year for Saquon to see, hey, are you this great running back that we think you are? And for Daniel Jones, it's, hey, can you prove that we should just keep you on the field?
Exactly. You prove you're a quarterback in the NFL. Are you worth the mouthpiece or the hype man we're gonna buy for you? That's gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly.
If not, we're just gonna let you. The reason I saw an interview with him the other day, it was on the Good Morning Football show, and it was hard to listen to. I was like, how could? If I heard that guy talking, I'd be like, this guy's our quarterback right now. Oh God, it's like. I'm putting his head in the toilet. I'm not saying he's a nerd or anything like that, or I don't condone bully behavior, but it was just it was like I said, it was like a young Jim Carrey it was like a character. It was like a character trying to be like this. Well, golly sheesh, guys, I just been working out a little bit.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be able to command a locker room, command the huddle. And it's
and he can be soft spoken but still have a presence at the same time. And he had neither. So he had the soft spoken, but didn't have the presence.
Yeah. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, other than that, Nelly in the chat just wanted to say real quick, Saints taking the NFC, by the way.
Saints?
Yeah, he's already behind Winston. He's already, I guess, thinks Jameis Winston is. I don't know if he just ever watched that year when he played for Tampa Bay. Maybe not. I don't know.
Go watch Jameis Winston's workout videos, buddy. Tell me what he's taking other than another L. That's what he's doing. Eating that L, boy. That's what he's gonna be doing.
Oh, I mean, like I said, you're in the NFC South. To begin with, you're already the second. You're already battling for number 2.
Exactly.
It's a foregone conclusion that Tampa Bay is going to destroy the teams in your division. I'm sorry. He's not going to get beat by Sam Darnold twice. He's not going to get, the Falcons are, what are they? They have no identity right now. The Saints, is it, with Jameis Winston, is he going to come in and set the world on fire? Maybe, but good enough to beat the Buccaneers? I don't know. Let's start with beating the Sam Darnold and Matt Ryan. And then we'll see if we can talk about playing Tampa Bay. Much less the rest of the NFC.
Yeah. Yeah, get out of your own division first, buddy. Then come talk to the rest of the NFC.
Yeah, it's like Cam Akers and J.K. Dobbins there. At least be the best running back on your team first before you.
Yeah.
Nah, Nelly's one of my oldest followers and subscribers on YouTube and Twitch. So shout out to my man.
No, yeah, hey, we still got love for you. We still got love for you, Nelly. But I mean, if you're gonna come correct, sir. That's all I gotta say. Come on, baby. Like I said,
me and Nelly got one of the biggest arguments of all time. I shouldn't say of all time, but between me and him, obviously, is our biggest argument over who is the better all-time quarterback between Drew Brees and Peyton Manning. And
it's Peyton Manning by far.
That's what I said, but he likes the Saints, so let's not reopen that wound. But I just wanted to gain someone else's perspective, and it's not because we're Washington fans we're going to think the same thing. It's just obvious.
The best quarterback to ever play, like the best, like if you just take the position of quarterback, is Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the best guy to ever play the position of quarterback is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
But the best quarterback to ever lace up and put on a helmet is Peyton Manning. That's I mean that's what it is.
Yeah, he's
And I'm a Drew Brees guy too. I like Drew Brees a lot. I think he, great dude, did a lot for that city of New Orleans. Was pretty much just kicked to the curb by San Diego and said, "Hey, we're gonna roll with this guy Phillip Rivers." And Drew Brees just went on to become one of the best quarterbacks we've seen, but definitely not the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe top 10 of all time, but definitely not challenging for number 1.
Yes, I think it's hard to challenge anybody for Tom Brady right now. It's like, as far as what he's done now, again, cementing it with Tampa Bay. But that's enough of the rest of these other teams. We're reaching for stories. This is Washington's going to beat them all like he almost did. He could have almost beat that Tom Brady team with Taylor. As we can look right here, if I'm pointing to it, look at that Tampa Bay team almost going. Oh, where am I going the wrong way? There we go. You can see what happened to Tampa Bay when they came into Washington, buddy. And don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Nelly. We'll take out that Tampa Bay for you, so you might have a chance. But
that was a nice little turn from hey, you're gonna have to worry about Tampa Bay. Don't worry, man. We'll take care of Tampa Bay for you. That was a nice little turn there, like that.
Hey, again, we're the Washington football team, not a Washington football team podcast. So we're gonna have to say we're gonna take these teams. We're definitely gonna take the NFC. Why not? I don't think anybody else wants. Tampa Bay's, it's already been given to them. I don't think anybody else wants it as much as us.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see obviously what happens with the Packers and the whole Aaron Rodgers saga. Out in the NFC West, we'll see what happens with the 49ers.
That Wild West. I think it's going to be one of those where they all shoot each other.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Uh-oh. DJ Dan Sims jumped in here and said, I like Drew Brees over Peyton. Who have the better stats between the two, Brees or Peyton? Well,
I'm not arguing stats. But the best quarterback to ever play, just take the position of who you want to play quarterback. It's Peyton Manning. If you wanted to build a prototype quarterback, it's going to be a lot closer to Peyton Manning than it is going to be Drew Brees. You're not taking no 5'9" quarterback that can't throw the ball over the line.
He was an exception to the position, exactly. He had more heart,
absolutely,
determination, grit that won him more games than the mechanics would make a great quarterback, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but if you're saying, hey,
go intangibles are what made him great, and he's a great quarterback, and I'm not taking anything away from his accomplishments. But a technically sound, quarterback that played the position, mind, body, technique, everything you want to get down to, Peyton Manning is the prototype.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. If you told somebody to go build a quarterback in the laboratory, that quarterback's going to look a lot more like Peyton Manning.
Especially for the times. Nowadays, you're going to have to put some Lamar Jackson's, or at least some
correct
Josh Allen speed on them, at least. Some Josh Allen speed. So.
No, I agree.
But anyway.
Agreed.
Any other questions, comments, guys? Well, we're here to talk anything. We got a lot of this football related. But thank you for stopping by, DJ and Dan Sims, and we appreciate it. A lot of DJs today. We got a DJ Hughes who jumped in and said hey and followed. DJ Udi Sound who jumped in and gave us the host. And then we had our man DJ Dan Sims who like to talk about our ongoing debates of goats in different sports and whatnot. So.
Who's the greatest DJ of all time?
DJ Jazzy Jeff.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I could think of. It's DJ Jazzy Jeff.
DJ Udi gave us a salute. A salute to you too, my friend. And a
Appreciate
salute to DJ Jazzy Jeff. Yes. I wish Will Smith would have taken you further. I wish he would have just dropped you off when he got bigger. I know he took you for a while on Fresh Prince, but once he started getting those multi-million-dollar blockbusters, I wanted to see a little Jazzy cameo. You could have put Jazzy in there with all kind of things. You just left him, brah. You left Jazzy.
He just did him like Uncle Phil and just threw him right out the door.
Oh man.
Let me go ahead and wrap up the show here for the recorded version. Then we can stick
Yeah,
around
okay.
live, see if anybody else wants to jump up. So that'll do it for us here on your Allies Behind Enemy Lines podcast. Again, check us out anywhere you find your podcasts: Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts. Again, also find us on SoundCloud. All 4 spots by searching Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Find us on Facebook at Allies Behind Enemy Lines Podcast. YouTube, again, Allies Behind Enemy Lines. We'll do live shows like this on YouTube. We'll post all our recorded shows there. Excuse me, after. If you head over to our Twitter, right down below, Allies Behind, or excuse me, at Allies BEL, go ahead and go into our bio. You can find all the links for everything I just mentioned. So it's a one-stop shop for everything that is Allies Behind Enemy Lines. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We will see you guys next week. For Joy, I'm Ryan. Y'all take care. Have a great 4th. We'll see you guys next week.